Okay, we're going to create a color wheel. It's going to represent all the different color harmonies or color schemes that we talked about in class. We first need to set up a new file. So Illustrator, new file. We're going to do last name, first name, color wheel, 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to turn my rulers on, and I'm just going to create an 1/8 of an inch guideline on the top and on the bottom. I'm going to also find center for my type and my color wheel, so it's 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. Grab your type tool or text box, and we're going to drag until that little X is right on the line. I'm going to center, and I'm going to go ahead and set my type for 36 inches or points. You can change the style of that if you want to. Just leave some room between the top and the bottom. Your polygon is going to be a set size. It's going to be 3.937 inches by 12 sides with no fill. Also lowered stroke, and put this into the center. You want to get it right down the middle. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started by drawing lines from the points of the polygon to the center. And if you're thinking like a designer, you're probably asking yourself, why is Mrs. Sands not using the rotation tool? I would be using the rotation tool, except the technique that I'm about to show you does not work with the rotation tool. And it's going to cause problems. I've tried it multiple times and it's not consistently working, so we're just going to have to do it this way. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually select the entire thing, and I'm going to come over to my Pathfinder. If you don't have it here, you have it at the top, or you have it in your Windows menu. And if you expand this out, there's an option to divide. You're going to click on divide, and then you're going to double click keep clicking until it deselects. It takes a second. I think the computer is processing your request. And then you have to click on it again and ungroup it. Now when I've done that, what I've done is I've made individual triangles. So I cut my pizza. So now I'm going to take my shape that I just built with my multiple triangles, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a copy, but I'm going to scale it to 80%. So I'm going to set this to 80, and I'm going to hit copy. What I want to do is select both of these pieces, and with my shape builder tool and my option key held down, I'm just going to cut out the center. Okay. Before we build this, I'm going to go ahead and fill these in real quick. Just copy exactly where I'm placing these. If you put them in the wrong part, then you're going to screw up your color wheel. So you need to put them exactly where I have them. And I'm just using the colors right from the computer. Just go back to your notes, look at what they're supposed to be. That doesn't look like red violet, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And I'm going to use the blue violet. They're all here, right in front of you. Oh, that's not blue-green. And last is yellow violet, or yellow-green. Okay, now that we have them done, it's going to be super simple. I'm going to go ahead and make another shape, and I'm going to scale it at 80% again. And this time, I'm just going to drop my percentage of opacity down to 80. I'm then going to do another. I'm going to select. Now this is the point where I really regret not grouping, so I'm going to go ahead and hold shift and select all of them and group them together. That way I can go back and click on one and everything will be selected. I'm going to transform again. I'm not going to change my scale. I'm just going to keep it at 80%, but I am going to change this every 20 degrees. Same thing. I'm going to go down to 40, and I should have 5 by the time I'm done. So I'm going to do one more, 80 again, and this time I'm going down to 20. So the lowest opacity you should have is 20. The highest opacity you should have is 100%. So it goes from 100 to 20. Okay, we're going to go ahead and hold Option, hold Shift, and I'm just going to bring it in a little bit. I'm turning off my stroke because my stroke is actually becoming a distraction. I don't need it. Okay, now we're going to make a very small type box down at the bottom. I'm going to lower my type to like 10 and type in monochromatic because this is a monochromatic color scheme, or color scheme, yes, goes from solid all the way down. Alright, now I don't want to have to recreate this, so I'm going to go ahead and select all of the pieces. I'm going to group it together, and I'm going to put a copy on the front, and I'm going to bring this over. And we are going to create 1/2 by 1/2 size color wheels. So I'm going to double check and make sure this is 1.5. And I have it set for this for a reason. I have it measured so that it can go across. So we're going to put this right on. I went in 1/2 inch, so we're going to go in 1/2 inch here. So we're going to put our color wheel here. And then I'm going to go ahead and transform each. And we have to take a guess at how much. I think it came to 2 inches. And then Command D twice. And then what I would do, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select them all, not the monochromatic part, and just center them right down the center. Because if I actually had a guideline here, that would be 1/2 inch. So now they're perfectly centered. I'm going to come in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on a final one so it doesn't take as long. But you're going to basically use your pen tool to draw arches, draw straight lines, create one little dot, copy it a bunch of times, and then label each of the color schemes on the bottom. I only made this dot once. I used my pen tool for all of these so that you don't have to create it so many times. And then when you're done, you should have a finished color wheel that looks like this. Go ahead and save it and turn it in.